Hello, hello. It is day 77 from here to Jerusalem, walking with a harp on your back from West Cork to Jerusalem. And we are in Amsterdam, and there is a kitchen behind me. I see now all of a sudden I've been tweaking the angle, but the light isn't. Maybe this is doable. Yeah, the light isn't great. We can do it like this. Great. Day 77. Harp is sitting there. He will have to start working pretty soon now again. Where's my tea? I've got tea. So far we've walked Ireland, West Cork to Dublin, first through the hills and then along the Barrow Way until we came to Dublin. And from Dublin we took a boat to, what was it again? To Wales, where I took a train to Liverpool, and I walked from Liverpool to Hull, through the Peak District, along the reservoirs, and then afterwards in Yorkshire, from west to east. And from Hull I took a boat to Europort in Rotterdam, and that's where I arrived about day 60 something, some 10 days ago. And I was really very tired by then. Like, it was tough, to be honest. It'd been very, very good in England. I really enjoyed Yorkshire, and I had a great time meeting people there and walking and meeting up with old pilgrims and new friends and old friends. But here we are. I made it to Holland and then walked to Delft, and Marcel came and rescued me, and he brought me to his place in Amsterdam, where I rested for a few days. And then we went back to Delft and we walked from Delft to Amsterdam, and we arrived a few days ago. Now, I remember that I did the last update that I did. I actually turned the phone around. There was nothing to see. It was just me talking. And I remember sitting there worrying about the angle. So this is a new machine, and which I'm trying out, but it's heavy, and the discussion has been heavily on our minds constantly, because there's quite a lot of material that I log around, and the question always is, do you need it, yes or no? Like, I'll be walking for over a year, it looks like, and do you need everything? Like, what kind of hiker are you, and what is your strength, and where's your weakness? My strength, I think, is making do, making do, and people, and hanging out with people and stuff. So I don't do a lot. Like, I'm not into hardcore wilderness. I carry a harp. Anyway, 5 days ago I did my last update. It was day 72, and we were near near Ter Aar. Well, we were outside of Ter Aar. We had arrived outside of Ter Aar, and on this campsite where there was a lot of air traffic. Like, you can hear it in the video. It just roars. It roars. It's just, oh my God. So apparently this is under one of the flight paths, one of the taking off paths, I think, of Schiphol Airport. And it was really funny. In the morning we met this old guy who was from Amsterdam, and I think was he the owner, you think, Marcel? The guy who came and told us about what a nice and quiet camping it was. You don't remember? You don't think so? No. And he was saying to us, like, oh, this is a lovely, nice and quiet camping. This is really great to relax. And we had been like 5 o'clock in the morning, the first one, it just roared. So up and out, up and out. Anyway, that was day 70. That was the start of day 73. Now, what I didn't tell you about that on day 72, as we walked out towards Der Aar from the camping where we met with Ed Gold. The biggest need that morning definitely was for coffee. Coffee. Just a lovely cup of black coffee. And of course, there was none in the canteen at the at the camping. And then we walked back to the tea house, and that wasn't open. And then Marcel said, didn't your man say to us that there was a place called the Kaiser just a little bit further down who does a lot for the cyclists? So I said we needed to stay on the lift bank. Marcel said that probably for the Kaiser we needed to be on the other side. Well, we met no the Kaiser, not within like a driving person's estimation of distance, or a walker or a cyclist for that matter. Like, we talked about it a lot because there was a real need for coffee because it was early. And we walked and we walked and we could not find any coffee. And then we came off the canal at Ter Aar, which was already a good bit in walking. And there I said, I will go to the petrol station, we can have coffee there. And Marcel said, no, let's go a little bit further. And then there was an intratuin, a garden center. And I said, well, here they will definitely have coffee. And he saw a sign saying that there was coffee. So in we went, not checking on what end of the garden center the coffee was. They made us walk for at least a mile through a maze of everything that intratuin thinks that you need for your garden. There was like water cleaning mosses, air cleaning trees and plants, and moth eating stuff, and fresh soil and old soil and stones, and there were gardening equipment, there was clothing, there was watering equipment, there was a mile and something of it, like, and every flower, plant, tree under the sun in Ter Aar. Yes. So we didn't want to walk too far. We're not going to do a detour for the coffee, but Intratuin made sure that we had to hunt the coffee down at the end of the maze near the checkouts. The coffee was good though, and we had paninis there, and they had the best cold orange juice that you can imagine. It was like muy frío, really cold, and it was really, really yummy. So that was the start of day 72, and then we ended on day 73, and then we ended up in the, we walked and we walked and we, oh, that was on day 72, yeah. And that's also the day that I found my swan feathers. So I found 2 swan feathers, and I wore them in my hair for the duration. And then we ended up the next day on the 13th, so on aha, very good. Thank you. So next thing that happened was the next day we went into this little, we couldn't find anywhere for coffee again. And finally we got to this little place called the Kwakel. The Kwakel! And there was like a small, what was there? There was a tiny, like like all of, this is on day 73, yeah? And all this landscape, like the route that we were following, so we were on the Pilgrim spot by then, so the Pilgrims road from Sertogenbos to Amsterdam, it goes. And we'd found it fine, like we cut off some bits here and there, but we have, like, for sure, the Dutch routes, they're really, really, like, they make every effort to really keep you away from the traffic. It was very, very, very nice. It was very nice walking, very beautiful. The landscape is just stunning. Like the first few days, there was a lot of dikes that we walked over, and from there, like a lot of like nature parks and places where they keep animals and stuff, and there's so many geese. There's so many geese. I haven't seen that many geese, like, I don't know, like Ireland really definitely has a limited amount of birds. If you see the amount, like the diversity of birds that they have here, it's just incredible. Anyway, we landed in the Kwakel, and the Kwakel is still in, the Kwakel is like, let me see, it's just west of Oud-Horen. And from there you end up in Aalsmeer. So we were heading for Aalsmeer, and you come through the Kwakel. And in the Kwakel, there was this bakery. So we got some sausijzenbroodjes, which were nice. And then I'd seen that they were selling coffee as well. So Marcel went in to get some coffee. And then he came back and he had, what did you bring out? Croissants, wasn't it? After the sausijzenbroodjes. Oh, a gevulde koek. Oh, and it was good. Like, it was all fresh and really nice and buttery on the outside. It was good. So I went in for more coffee, because the coffee was also really good. And we had to decide where we're going to walk on or we're going to find something to really eat. So I went back in and I asked her, was there anything we really needed to eat? Now, in this bakery turns out is like the bakery that makes patisserie for the Dutch royalty. So they have like this name as well, like Royal Patissier of the House of Kings of whatever. So apparently, so their best seller, and we ate it, is like this. It's like a cake, and it looks like an eclair, kind of. Like it is piped, and then it is dipped. It has chocolate ganache inside, and then it is dipped in chocolate. And it's a lot, like, but we ate it because I was still really very hungry at day 73, and in the Kwakel, I ate, I think, 2/3 of this entire thing. And when you go to the Kwakel, you have to definitely visit this bakery because the coffee is just amazing. And she was so proud to tell me about this. Now, there was also a kind of an unidentified statue in front where we sat. We sat in front of the town community center, and there was a little tree with a bench, and there was also a statue of a drum player, but it didn't say who it was or who it was made by. And then we followed the pilgrim spot onward and onward and onward. And where did we end up? We ended up at Aalsmeer, in the outskirts of Aalsmeer, and ate what? What did we eat? We ate. There was a chipper. Now Marcel had been having a lot of trouble with his teeth, and he just lost one of his molars. So he was not enjoying the eating experience. But I was being ravished by hunger, like I couldn't eat enough, like to make me feel not hungry anymore. So I ate the broodjesond, which is ham and cheese and egg and salad and tomatoes and onions and God knows what, and chips. And the chips, they were really, really good. They were really crispy. But we were sitting out in this like industrialized zone, and yeah, at a metal plate worker shop thingy. it was, it was, it was good. And then we went on. I mean, look at that thing. Look at that. That is what it looked like. Look at that. That's pretty good, isn't it? Can you imagine eating that? Oh man. So now, then we went on and on and on, and we ended up by the. It was I remember it as being a very, very long day of walking. We saw Aalsmeer, because we went all the way to Amsterdamse Bos that day, didn't we? I think that was that day. No, that couldn't have been that day. Couldn't have been that day. Hang on. See, now I'm all confused. I think it is. Because we needed to go to Aalsmeer. We decided that we would see how far we would get. And Marcel had pain in his mouth and he couldn't eat, and I was eating like a trooper. And we saw the water tower of Aalsmeer, which is like this. It's what is it called? Jugendstil. It's in Jugendstil. So you have this big water tower standing to this big lake, and it's choppy like. And what I learned as well is that a lot of these lakes came into being because of taking sand out of the polders. Now, so it was a long day. In the end, like there were some issues with you were being brought around over a really busy road. Marcel wanted to visit. I think we didn't agree on the route anyway. We weren't agreeing, and Marcel went ahead a little bit, and because he had booked I'd never stayed there actually. There is a campsite which is right next to the Amsterdamse Bos, and I used to spend a lot of time as a pre-teenager in the Amsterdamse Bos with my brother. We'd spend the summer swimming there and stuff. So it was nice. It was nice. It's a really big campsite. It's some travel, big travel company that runs it, and has loads of little houses and glamping and all that kind of stuff. And then we went out to have dinner. Where was this again? In Bovenkerk, yeah, which is just a little bit further down. So Marcel put up the tent, and then we went on, and we had some food in the Silversand. It's called the Silversand in Oudekerk, and it was good fun. Like it was good fun, and we had nice food. We had mustard soup, which was very nice, and I had a schnitzel, I believe, and Marcel had a steak. Am I right? Yes. And it was like, and we had way too much beer to drink, and it was good fun. Like it was good fun. It was good fun. So that was Bovenkerk, and so the next day we broke up and we walked into Amsterdam, and it was the route, the Pilgrimspad, it goes straight through the Amsterdamse Bos, and the route is really, again, like it's really, really beautiful. It's not the fastest route into town, but it brings you through what is it? Where did we have that again? oh yeah, we walked through over, oh, what am I saying? Yeah, through over het Jagerspad, from het Amsterdamse Bos to Old Zuid on the west side of the Amstelveense Weg, and then you go through the Vondelpark Park and you go through the center to the central station. So we had aimed for the Krijtberg. I had asked would they stamp, I had called them and asked them would they stamp my Pilgrim passport, and they agreed. But I had to be there before 3 o'clock. So that's what we were aiming for, before 3 o'clock. And yeah, we made it. Marcel's dad came to make some photographs of us walking into Amsterdam. It was really, really lovely. He came and we had some afterwards, more beer, of course. More beer, and we hadn't really eaten that day. So food was late, everything was late, but it was a good day. It was a good day. And then the next day, all I did, I think, was eat. And the day after that, I didn't do much more than eat and drink. Just eat and drink. I'm gonna put a plaster now. My thumb, look, the bottom bit has come off. So I'm gonna put a plaster on it now again, just so that I don't rip the nail off when I do things. But we had these really big plasters. They're really, really, really good. But then now with all the new technology, you know, you need your fingers. So you need to be able to take it off and put it on and stuff. There we go. That's that. Now, what I wanted to do is plait my hair. So the next day, yeah, the walk through Amsterdamse Bos was very, very nice. And the next day we went to meet. I didn't do much. I went to meet my friend Stella Bra. She's a journalist here in Amsterdam, and yeah, we had uitsmijters. So uitsmijter is like the Dutch equivalent of a full Irish breakfast. So it's lacking in the Irish breakfast department. So it would be like 2 fried eggs, sometimes 3 if you have a big one and a small one, and then you can choose like ham or bacon to be fried and put under the egg, or cheese on top, or with tomato or something. So it's lacking in the Irish department that there is like limited elements of protein. There's like limited elements. It doesn't really go over 3 or 4, and like you wouldn't add things like onions or things. It wouldn't be like ham and bacon, or black pudding for that matter. But it's good, and they serve it then on 2 slices of bread, and you have your protein and your bread, and it's all really neat, and you eat it, and off you go. Now, so we did that and I think we didn't do much more. I think Marcel cooked and I ate and I slept, and the next day we went for a long walk, actually, through the city to see so there is a few things that I'm missing. Like I could do with a sun cover, a sun kind of protection for the harp. So I'd been thinking that maybe I could have like a rain bag made here for the harp, but from white stuff. But so far we have not been able to find anybody who's willing to do that, and that's not going very well. Who says like, yeah, that's what I'll make. So we're thinking now that what I should do is get one of those, super like water repellent sprays, and when I get the new harp back, just do that on the outside of the thing. But we went to look, and I also went to look for, like, I don't know how people travel with, like, you've got the little backpack, but there's always stuff that you need. Like you need to be able to get to your water and to your food, to your medicine and to your paperwork at all times. Like, so I always have 2 side bags, and I'm like, they get the most wear and tear because for stability, I have them underneath my belt as I walk, so they stick out, and then they stay the least moving. They just stay the most static, but of course there is the friction between the leg. And it really wears down. Like you'd be surprised how much wear and tear that actually gives. So they never last longer than a few months. But I'm looking for their replacements, or at least for one of them. And I think the best bags are those like hippie bags made of cloth, but the cloth is always like, it's never really great quality, so I don't know how to, and I looked at what looks like sturdier bags, but then they suddenly get much heavier, and a lot of the stitching of the bags made from nylon and stuff, that in my experience doesn't hold very well either. So it always rips out, the friction actually rips out the stitching most of the time. So I'm still looking for 2 side bags, and I haven't made a decision yet. And as long as I don't make a decision, I might as well try and repair the old ones. So that is on my list of things to do as well. Now, that brings us really up to today. So yesterday we did the long walk on day 76. We did a long walk through the city, and she's really, Amsterdam is really beautiful. It's always really lovely to be here, and it's a good vibe. But I don't feel very pilgrim at the moment, if I'm really honest. Like it is I've been seeing friends and people I grew up with and stuff like. So I grew up in Amsterdam. I lived here from about the time that I was 1 to the time that I left in my late 20s, and so it's always good to be here. I've got old school friends here, and there's still a few people of my family. So that's what I've been doing today. It's very warm out there, so there's a heat wave, and so I'm not traveling. I've kind of decided that I'll stay here until Thursday and just do some other things. So tomorrow we have a little get together of whoever can come, school friends, at the little summer house of Glenn, who's also an old school friend. And then what is it? Sunday I've been looking for different gigs. I might go see a few more churches. So I went to see the Kruidberg. They signed my pilgrim's passport, but I would like to have my pilgrim's passport also signed at the St. Vincentius in Old West, and I've written an email to them, so I'll get in touch. If I don't hear anything tomorrow, I'll get in touch with them on Monday, and and a few more places where I wouldn't mind playing, and people I wouldn't mind seeing and talking to. So yeah, that's really it for now. It's all good. It's day 77 from here to Jerusalem. Sean the Harp will have to come out of his bag pretty soon and do his little thing. There's no point in logging him around all this time, everywhere, all the time, if I don't actually make him do his little job of playing music. It's really nice hanging out with Marcel and having him about, and I think I heard a little bird whisper that he might actually consider coming to walk with me for a few more days as I leave towards the east. So now, hair done, very warm. So next few days, I'm gonna go make use of that by resting, and then once all of that is done, whoop whoop, we will go on. what can I say? Thank you very much to everybody who is supporting me. And of course, we can do with all the support we can get. Subscribe, share the love, tell people about us, come and visit us, come and see us on the road, whatever way. It's always good to have you guys around, and I hope to see you all soon. Have a lovely day.